Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Saying Media podcast. I am your host, Vinny Sang. I'm here with a special guest and friend.
Hi, guys. My name is Zach.
If you guys don't know Zach is a very close friend of mine in college. We knew each other in high school for a little bit, but we didn't get to really talk, And in college, we actually got to do a lot of similar things and start like an organization with other friends and start basically a company with other friends too.
Yeah, so similar. It's kind of creepy, but
yeah. But we got really close.
Yeah, we really did.
Basically best friends.
I'm grateful.
Thank you for being here. Is there anything you want to say before we start?
Oh yeah, I'm just really excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Vinny. And I'm really excited for whatever conversation that we're gonna have today. So
yeah,
just surprise me with whatever topic and let's get it started. Right?
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it was like I've been planning this. I think you've seen on my social media. Like I've been getting the office ready and like planning this for like weeks.
Yeah.
And I've always had you and like everyone else in mind as well to be on the podcast. So I was really glad that you got back up to Nova, and I was like, all right, he's in Nova. Text him right now. Let's get on the podcast.
Yeah, bro.
And then when you said, oh yeah, I'm free this week, I was like, bet.
I still want the photo shoot though. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Whenever you get that haircut and you're ready, I got you.
I say, dude.
But for today's topic, I thought it would be good to talk about some things that not really been talked about in our generation, or at least in our age group, is daily routines.
Oh, okay, yeah.
People think about it, but I feel like not a lot of people express what their daily routines are,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they don't know the different point of views. They always like look at the people that they're motivated from, or like other people, or like they just don't see a daily routine for themselves. So I was just wondering, like with everything's been going on, first of all, like how are you doing? How's everything going?
Oh yeah,
That's
appreciate
good.
you.
That's good. But like, how's your daily routines been? Because I know it must have been like a change pre-COVID to COVID, and now it's still current COVID, but some things are open now.
Yeah. So I was just about to say, like, it's definitely been a very drastic change from, prior to COVID to now. And then, like, I guess what's most difficult is that there's a lot of things that aren't as accessible as before, and some things that are accessible, but you kind of want to maybe steer away from because you kind of want to be a little bit more safe, on the safe side.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if spending time with family and such. So prior to COVID, one thing that I wanted to kind of build upon and like make stronger within my daily routine was going to the gym, because I was really slacking during my time in college.
I feel that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do and always busy, so it's really hard to just kind of, it's an excuse that you can use to everything, what I'm saying? It's hard to do these things because you're always so busy or whatever. Ever since COVID started, that completely just, went away, because I couldn't go to the gym, right? Because there's just
there's no access.
You can't go to the gym.
There's no access now.
But now, since the gyms have started opening up again, I actually got a new gym membership here in Nova. It's like $8, but it's alright, bro. It's a really nice gym.
Must be a really nice gym.
They got a pool, bro. It's like heated, so I'm
a heated pool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
But yeah, I've been going to the gym every single day. I've started to eat healthy again.
Oh, nice.
And along with that kind of daily routine, daily habit, I've been trying to build upon and just strengthen my entire just kind of like physical and mental health.
Yeah. Which
because
is really good to do.
Yeah, now is really the time to kind of just take a step back and really work upon growing yourself. And just on the topic of daily routines, I feel like daily routines are just, it's all just built up of habits, right?
Yeah, for
habits
sure,
that you do every single day, and habits are what make up your certain skills and your, talents and everything like that. You're never just going to get anywhere without working hard and sticking to it, especially without consistency. So
I really like that you say that too, because what I've known from like, just like the motivational posts I follow and stuff like that, like psychology and stuff. And, I'm pretty sure we heard it from like the leadership conferences we've been to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like daily routines need to be consistent, and in order to get into that consistency, in psychology it's called like circadian rhythm, right? It's the repeat of like everyday stuff, but for it to become like
I thought that had something to do with food. Sorry to cut you off. It was like a food thing.
So circadian rhythm can go with food, because you know how like you get hungry at a certain time.
Yeah.
That's within your circadian rhythm.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So like I don't know if you felt like when you went to school sometimes, like for some reason after this class you always had to pee.
Dude, yeah. Every time I got back from school, I had to take a shit, and then I had to take a long ass, fat ass nap. So I can feel that. Yeah,
it's in your circadian rhythm. So
if
it keeps on repeating, so like let's say you get up and you don't normally eat breakfast, right?
Yeah.
So you're not gonna be that hungry because it's not in your rhythm. You normally get hungry when, let's say, you eat lunch at 12, right? But And then that becomes your circadian rhythm, and then becomes a habit. Like after 30 days, right? And then after like 90 days, 3 months of you doing that same thing every single day, it becomes a routine, right? And you get used to it. That's why I learned in psychology and some leadership stuff. And I heard, you know, so that's why in the beginning when you're trying something new, it's hard because you're already used to your old daily routines, your old circadian rhythm, your old routines and stuff like that. You know.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So that's why I thought it was really cool. You're like, I'm trying to get back into it, and you're like, it's becoming a everyday thing. You know? Because that's what you need to start. Right. So to go back onto that, what have you been doing? You know, like how does it seem like your daily routine has changed from like, I guess, the quote unquote, you know, lazy self to your quote unquote more active, or the self that you want to be right now?
Right. So every day is always just, you know, it's a long drawn journey. Of course, it's not something that's just going to happen immediately. Like I said, it's building a habit, correct? So I guess a kind of tip that I try to do in terms of building a habit, a daily habit, is using something that you already do daily, basically. So for example, and use that as kind of an alert, or like I don't know, it's just like something to remind you to do this certain thing. So for example, like if you wake up and then you brush your teeth, that's your alert to do like 10 push-ups, for example, right?
Oh, so kind of like was it a reaction of like doing something? Basically?
Yeah. So then every single day, like obviously, make it something that's so easy that you can't like you can't forget about it. Yeah, you won't do it. You will not do it. Basically, you know what I'm saying? Okay. It's like if you don't do it, then you're just actually being lazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So just built upon a habit that you already have, for example. So when that happens, right, you're gonna brush your teeth, and then you're gonna have like that ding in your mind. Like, I don't know if that has something to do with circadian rhythm, but like it's gonna ding in your mind. You're gonna be like, oh wait, I have to do my push-ups, and it's gonna feel weird. It's gonna feel more weird to not do the push-ups than it is to do the push-ups.
Yeah. Interesting fact that one is called conditioning.
Conditioning. Oh, that's true. Yeah. I mean, that's true.
That one's conditioning. Yeah.
That's dope. But yeah, how have you been doing during COVID times? Have you been switching up your daily routine? Anything changing with
It's been, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a hell of a roller coaster. I think I've been on the down for the most of it, basically, because I think if you remember, like pre-COVID, how busy we both were.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I think it was a huge shock to my system, because I was able to go to the gym, right? So the gym was part of my daily routine, and then, you know, like we were running an organization with each other and doing a business at the same time, plus classes, right? So like during those times, it was like wake up, go to class, go to whatever practice, whatever meeting that we have, and then at night I'll go to the gym, and then that's it, right? And then in between I eat and have my social time, right? Blah blah blah. COVID happened, and I was like, "There's no gym." What the hell? But it was still in my like system, right? To like still be active, right? And stuff like that. So I went on daily walks, blah, 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 blah. But then it started getting slower. I started playing video games, and then I got back into video games, and then, you know, I was cooking a lot, but then I was like, it's such a pain in the ass to go grocery shopping with the mask now. And like being cautious about it, and I figured out what Uber Eats was because I never used Uber Eats and stuff. So
you're not only just ruining your daily routine, you're spending more money too.
Yeah. It was so bad at the beginning, bro. It was like the mid part, like I had some breakdowns because like I think if you know me, I'm like a huge doer, right? Like I'm a huge like I need something to be done type of person.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially being your roommate.
I always needed to do something. I couldn't just sit there and do nothing. Yeah. So it was like I was like devastated when like we couldn't work on SK or like blank and stuff like that. And I was like, shit, what do I do? And then I just kind of like fell into a hole. But now, thankfully, like gyms are back open, and the ironic thing that brought me back to it is because they started charging me again. That's the main reason why I came back. But like I started at
least you had that spark to try.
I had the spark. But before that, I was walking my dogs more. I was going on runs instead, because I was like, I can't use this excuse to not go to the gym right now. And then now I'm like, we're doing this podcast now. I'm going to be doing skits soon, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking about like other things that we could do with each other. I've been doing like photography and stuff like that. So I think I've made it a goal every week to do either a photo shoot of someone or I will model.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why you did that photo shoot recently with was it Steph?
Steph, yes. Okay. Yeah. And I've made it a goal to because you know how in college our goal is to, like, to help other creatives or at least have them try and stuff like that. Yeah. Like even coming back to Nova now, I've noticed there's still a lot of creatives that still want to do more stuff, or like I could hit up those people now that needed help before, but I didn't really have the time, quote unquote, time
Yeah.
for them yet. But now I actually have a shit ton of time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I kind of feel like the time that we have right now is I mean, I would say it's a blessing in disguise, but I don't want to be like, COVID's, thank God for COVID or something.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Not like anything like that, but I mean, it's just like, it's great for us to get the opportunity to take a step back and just kind of reevaluate ourselves, reevaluate our situations,
Yeah,
and then
totally.
just kind of grow the way that we want to grow. You know what I'm saying? Take whatever journey that we want to take next. Yeah.
Yeah. How's that been for you though? Because obviously, COVID has been a pro and a con, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess like, what was like the biggest like takeaways for you that like really messed things up? I guess, and then like, what were the blessings that came after that?
Mm-hmm.
That like probably helped with your daily routines as well. To go back on that, it's like it probably helped you like, oh, I could add this now instead of doing this or something.
Right, right. So, I guess it's similar to yours. The bad part about it is just kind of like screwing up my daily routine and then getting comfortable in that just laziness. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously we were very busy in college, like you said, and then right after that, like it was just a sudden halt to it. There wasn't like any kind of gradual decrease in time spent actually doing something useful, but it was just randomly just completely halted, and that just kind of screwed my thing up too. It's just like you just stay in that hole of kind of just staying at home, just playing video games and just doing nothing. Basically. But it's definitely becoming a long process, but it's working. I'm working my way back up to, like actually making the best use of my time. You know what I'm saying? And taking that step back, taking that breather has given me more energy, if not, like to do more with my time, basically. What was the second part of your question? Sorry.
Okay, the take backs, and then what has it like added to you? Like
okay.
Like what have you realized that you could do now that you quote unquote have more time, basically, and stuff like that. I guess like what are the blessings that came out of it? Where like you couldn't do it if COVID didn't happen. I guess.
Right. So I've been spending a lot more time, just kind of building up my music. Just working on music basically. Before I've always wanted to produce like music and stuff like that. So, I actually took the time to kind of like buy a MIDI keyboard, buy like all the equipment. Oh, also that government money is really helping out too. I was able to buy some, some like kind of like studio equipment and work on Ableton and try to figure things out. Inside of the software. So, I mean, that's really been a huge blessing because, in the future I do want to, do my own covers and like, just like really dive into music like in a way that I had never done before, because before it was kind of just like something I put in the back burner, just like, on the side. Sometimes I'll pick up my guitar and like learn songs or do these kind of things, but then I never really like put it out there or like really just like actually try to create my own music or anything like that. So it's a really cool experience, just actually spending my time to actually learn that kind of stuff instead of just putting it on the bag and forgetting about it and not growing with it.
That's really dope, dude. Like I'm actually genuinely happy to hear that. Like I remember like you started telling me about that, and like I know we had tons of conversations in college about it and stuff like that, but I always knew, like, at least in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, he's just focusing on, like, because you were doing a shit ton of stuff. I knew you were doing a shit ton of stuff. And, like, I knew it was always in the back of the head. Like, you were like, Vinny, I want to help you with short films, and I also want to, like, pursue my music, but it's just, like, I'm doing so much shit at once right now,
definitely.
And I was like, dang, it's sitting down there because like I always like to help people too. I was like I can't wait until he comes to me and be like, I want to shoot a cover, or like he's like, I'm going to be doing this and I need your help type of thing. And it's like, because I want to be like right there, but like I know it's not my place to pressure you on it because everything is about timing. Right?
Oh, I definitely appreciate that. Yeah.
And I was like to hear that you're able to do it, and also shout out to the PUA money.
I know, right? Shout out government.
But like, it's really dope that like you're able to get that studio stuff and like dive into it, because like trust me when I say it, and other people can like, I don't know what it's called, condemn or agree.
Attest.
There you go. Because condemn is a bad thing. I forgot. A lot of people can attest that like you're a really good singer.
Thank you.
And stuff
I
like
appreciate that.
But it's the truth. Like because I'm pretty sure you know the reason why I started, like, before it was SK, it was like, no overproduction, stuff like that. I genuinely just wanted other creatives with me.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to expand on where I thought your talents were.
Yeah.
Basically, And like,
no, we all really appreciate what you do, definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then like I knew you were a singer, like
oh, thanks,
and
buddy.
all that time, like I would love to hear you sing, like especially like the late nights at 5:15, and we're college students, we got drunk, like I would just hear it, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I'll play one right now.
And I'm just like, I'm really excited when it starts, and I'm really glad that, like, I guess this is the first step,
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah.
And
I mean, going back to your question, I would say that, like, like that. I've said this like so many times already, but like that step back, that breather, really gives you the opportunity to understand exactly what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Can have that self-awareness instead of just moving forward and pushing forward and like not being so sure about yourself. You know what I'm saying?
I really feel that. I feel like I don't know if you probably feel the same way. Like a lot of people got clarity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I feel like we all went through our breakdown first, but
oh, yeah, definitely. But maybe you need that in order to find that clarity.
Yeah, because I think we were on a good track, right? Pre-COVID, like we had a lot of things planned. Like we had like I feel like it was we were, the engine started rolling and like the momentum came and like a lot of good things were planned for us. And no matter what, I think I would be sad that some of those things didn't happen because our routine was really good too.
Yeah,
like, if you guys are wondering, if you think we're steering off subject, but all this is related to daily routine.
Yeah.
But like like we had a guest coming for Blank from LA. It was confirmed and everything like that. SK, like you had another film in mind for yourself. We were having the Kahlua collaboration.
Oh yeah.
JP and them were having like films coming. I had 2 films on mine. We were already filming Savante's film. Like things were looking like it was going our way.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
And I was like devastated that it was gone, but it's like you said, like you kind of, we also went through our breakdowns and then you finally found time for some music, and then you were able to start these things. With what happened with me, right? It's like I was able to get new camera equipment. I'm doing this podcast now, and I found a more definite meaning for our group of SK, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, we had all these things that were planned out, but maybe this was a blessing that we needed to take a step back.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's really cool that we're actually able to take a step back now, and try new things.
Yeah, and really just like focus on growing ourselves as people,
Yeah.
in the way that we want to.
Yeah, exactly. But we are hitting our halfway break point right now. So I just need to remember that we left off on talking about the breakdown and finding something new, right? So during this break, sponsors, if there's any sponsors out there that wants to sponsor this podcast or, anything else in general, we would love to talk about it on this podcast. We could feature any type of product that you have and stuff like that. And also, like, if you see the guests that we have here, Zach even said he's into music. If there's any like music sponsorships or anything like that, we have like a bunch of talented people that are going to be on here. We're a part of the same group and stuff like that. Like, so if there's anything that you need, we're looking for sponsors. We'll be back after this 30-second to a minute break. See you soon. And we are now back from the break. So last off, we left off on, I kind of messed up my words there. That's okay. We left off with, kind of taking a step back, and prepping for things. And that's a really good thing to start with because I feel like it really gets us into the daily routine and like at least figuring it out. But talking about that, like, how are you doing with your daily routine right now? Like, do you feel like you could be improving in some things or like some things have been going well, and stuff like that?
So in my experience, I definitely feel like I've done a great job of be consistent with daily routines that I've already established, kind of thing. Like recently tried to establish.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for that. But I definitely feel like I still have a lot of time wasted every single day that I could be spending doing something that's much more, like helpful to my own personal growth.
Yeah.
And also like health in general. Yeah. But so something that I've been trying to implement to my daily routine for a very long time now, but I've been completely just throwing it off and slacking on it, was to meditate every single day. What's it called? And I feel like the reason why I've been slacking so much on that and why it hasn't been like a constant thing within my daily life is because I started off kind of too strong. You know what I'm saying? I started off reaching for something too high of a goal.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was trying to meditate every day for like 15, 20 minutes. And I feel like that's just like, I mean, that might not seem like a large amount of time for some people, but for me, as someone who doesn't do that every day or something like that, you know,
Yeah.
it feels like a big chunk of my time. Yeah. So something that I want to do, I'm probably starting tonight, because this podcast has really inspired me to, you know, like develop my daily routine.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
It kind of opens your eyes to things.
Yeah, for sure. Is to, what's it called? Shorten that down, you know, and make it, I don't know, like 3 to 5 minutes or something.
Oh, true.
And just kind of build a habit first.
Yes.
And I'll probably use the tip that I used earlier. Like I said, you know, like using something that already is within your daily routine and making and, you know, adding onto that with the new daily routine, the new habit that you want to build.
Yeah. So. And it's smart that don't start off too big, you know, because you said it was like too much time, and
because it just makes you not want to do it.
You start with a smaller time. At least you did it for that day, and then maybe it could develop. And I think speaking of daily routines and like meditating, I think The Rock does that. You know?
Oh yeah. So The Rock does it for like breaks every morning and like every night. I think it's like I don't know. It might be 20 minutes, it might be like an hour or something. I don't remember the exact amount of time, but he does it for a very long time. A long time. And he preaches it a lot. So.
Yeah, because his daily routine is like set solid. Like he follows like a daily routine, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. You know, like the same things or like something dedicated for a certain day. But I think no matter what, he has that meditation every single day. Yeah.
So do you kind of like look up to his like kind of routine? Do you have someone in particular that you?
There's this show on YouTube. I don't know what it's called. Like they interview like celebrities and stuff like that, or like even like YouTube celebrities. You know,
right.
And I've always wondered what their daily routines are like, because like, you know, Markiplier is like a gamer, right, and stuff like that. And it turns out he goes to sleep at like, I think he will be up to like 3 o'clock in the morning, but he goes to sleep at 10 p.m. sharp. Gets up in the morning, wakes up at 5 exactly. Wakes up at 5 to eat, walk the dogs, takes a shower, does his meetings. See what he has for his schedules that day, make sure his upload is done, and then he dives straight into his recording, right? Like he has to record this game for his sponsor, or he needs to do this thing for his other channel, or he needs to do a stream at this time and stuff like that. And like, I thought that was really motivating, and like I heard the Rock's one too, right? So like that's why I brought it up, because like the meditating, I was like, that's very similar. Like he meditates, he goes to the gym like 3 times a day, and then like he eats, or he has like whatever acting he has to do, or meetings he needs to do. So like that's what kind of motivates me, you know, like seeing other people's work ethic and work schedule kind of makes me want to like work on mine in a way.
So I'm gonna ask you the same question. Do you have anything that you want to add upon your daily routine?
Yeah, for sure, sure. I feel like once again, one of the scary things, like we're still very similar too. It's like I definitely could be doing a lot more, but like I am picking up on things, right? So like you said, you've been going to the gym a lot lately too, and like I've been going to the gym a lot lately. Like that's one thing that I'm proud of me that's getting back and stuff like that. But I think one thing I can work on is getting a better work ethic in a way, because like I'm proud that I'm able to do a photo shoot a week, right? But I kind of like set this goal for myself, like, oh, Monday I'm going to brainstorm all my ideas, Tuesday I'm going to just like do podcasts, so like research editing podcast, or having a guest for a podcast type of thing. And then I was like, Wednesday I'll do like my skits and stuff, Thursday I'll research investing and like portfolios, Friday I'll stream, you know, stuff like that. And like I haven't been able to like hit that schedule, you know. And I think what's been helping me now, because like you said, how you start slow, right? I've been starting slow. Like I just finished my podcast setup, so I've been making texts and seeing what days people are available, you know, to do those podcasts. And then like I've been editing photos lately, you know, like now that I know I have like photos to edit, I'll just edit them right away instead of like keep on holding back on them. That's cool. And then you know, we game a lot, and I just stream. Like, every time we just game, I stream. But now I think I can make a schedule. That's the thing I want to work on.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, like making an actual schedule for streaming.
like make an actual schedule for everything. You know? Like, but like actually do this at this time. Or like at least don't give myself an excuse to like fall into the trap of being on TikTok or YouTube for too long.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I feel that. I completely relate, bro.
So diving off of that, you know, we obviously know what we need to work on and like things that are working for us and stuff like that. I guess, what are other tips and tricks that you personally know or that you heard of that might help other people?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this is something that I actually do not only for. I mean, it helps out with my just scheduling in general because I'm kind of disorganized with a lot of the things that I do. But I keep a whiteboard hung up next to my door. So that it's a place where I can I have to look at it basically do anything. I have to I don't stay in my room all day. I have to walk out at some point. And then having that visual reminder of what exactly I need to do in my day actually helps me to kind of like keep it just keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Keep the routine going. And also it helps with the anxiety of scheduling everything because it's hard to. Everything seems much bigger in your head or much more time consuming in your head when you're trying to think of your schedule and just imagine it, right? But when you have it written out on a whiteboard or like a piece of paper and you actually look at it, you know what I'm saying? It's just so much smaller and it just relieves the anxiety that comes.
It seems attainable.
Seems much more attainable as well. Yeah. Aside from that, I also this is a thing that for just like starting something, right? Sometimes when you're like about to begin doing something, you're something that don't necessarily want to do at the moment, right?
Yeah, like something completely new.
Yeah, or like whatever, I don't know, you want to like get up out of bed or something like that, right? And you're kind of like sitting there like lazy, like let me just delay this even longer. So something that you can do is just think of a number, just any number, right? Well, maybe not like something ridiculous like 47 or something, but like think of a number and count down from that number, and then once you hit that 0 point, you're gonna do exactly what you need to do, right? Okay. And it doesn't matter like how you feel. It doesn't matter like what situation you're at. You have to do it, right? Yeah. So, for example, if I count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it exactly. Like, just do it at that time. Don't even think about it, right? You clear your head, and all that's in your head is just the numbers and what you have to do right afterwards. Yeah. And then over time, every time you think of that number, and every time you count down from that number, you're just going to do exactly what you need to do.
Because you're conditioning yourself to, right?
Conditioning yourself to do it. It's all about conditioning, honestly. It's just habit building, you know what I'm saying? Build the habit first before you build the skill. Yeah. And
it's funny, too. Like, imagine if you did 47.
I know.
You're waking up and you're like, 47.
It's like nighttime. You're like, okay, time to make breakfast. Okay.
It's like, nah, you need to, I guess probably $10 seconds. 10 seconds or less would probably be
definitely.
Right?
Yeah. But anything that you want to add to that? Or?
I think one thing that really helps me, I think personally, is accountability. One huge thing for me. I feel like I work best with others. Like it's weird. I'm an introvert extrovert, but I might need to take the test again because I think I'm more of an extrovert now. But obviously I still need my me time. But for some reason, all my best ideas, all my motivation, all that type of stuff, I do it best when I am with at least one person. And I think you could attend for that because we sat down and see, I always fuck up with this shit. But we've sat down late nights and we were bouncing off ideas shit and stuff like that. I live for that moment, you know. And then if I talk to someone and we both decide to do something let's say gym routines, right? For some reason, whenever we talk about daily routines, it always goes back to the gym, but I guess a gym is a really big thing, you know? But when you have that partner that's okay, but we're hitting chest today with each other. All right, tomorrow's leg day, you ready? And then you're kind of holding yourself accountable of saying, oh, he's expecting me to be there at this time.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. You don't want to be that guy, you know? But at the same time, the other person doesn't want to be that guy. Really doesn't want to go.
So it kind of motivates you both, and then next thing you know, you just want to do it.
Yeah.
And it feels right to do it with that person, or or if he can't make it one time or she can't make it that one time, you're already used to it. So you're like, all right, well, we've been doing it for 2 weeks straight, and I kind of just want to go. I could go by myself. I know what to do, type of thing. Yeah. So
because you've already established the habit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I like how you kind of looked at yourself, you self-reflected, and just understood exactly where how you learn best or how you grow best. You know what I'm saying? Because you mentioned earlier that you're seeing yourself more as an extrovert right now, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I've changed at all. But I think I've always been an extroverted introvert, right?
Yeah.
So I love to do things on my own. I know you love to feed off of others. And I do too at certain points, but sometimes I definitely do need that alone time to just kind of focus on myself and just I wouldn't say people are distractions, but you know what I'm saying? It's just I want to just completely clear everything in my mind and be alone and just think about what I need to do next. So that's how I no, I grow best and learn best, and I'm gonna keep going the way that I know how to go. You know what I'm saying?
And that's really smart too, because like you said to me, and I could say it to you too. Like it's really good that you know yourself best, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You could feed off the energy, but sometimes you need to be alone to do it.
Yeah,
because it's true. Because like not to say that other people are a distraction, but sometimes they can be. Sometimes you're in a different mindset than they are right now, so you kind of need to be alone in a way. So that's totally true. And I also want to bring back to one of your points of the tips that you had that I really liked. The whiteboard thing or writing it down. Interesting fact, I don't know if you know this, but because I follow like a lot of motivational stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
So there's this like one motivational speaker that was like, he had this guest person come in, right? And he was on a very low, right? Very, very low. He like dropped out of college. He didn't have a job at the time. And he heard all the stuff that this guy was doing. And he's like, I want to get there, right? And then one of his lessons were to write down the goals that you have, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think they had like a private talk at the end. He's like, you really inspired me. And then he was like, did you write down the goals that you want to do? Blah, 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 blah. And then like he showed him the goals. And then it's a crazy story. 5 years later, they meet again at another convention or just meet with each other randomly. He still had that list from 5 years ago. And the list was, I want to start a family. I want to get a job. And I want to own a home.
Wow, that's
I was able to cross all of it out.
That's also a thing. Crossing things out. It gives you that kind of like satisfaction that you've completed something. But yeah, that's really cool. That's a really interesting story.
Yeah.
What's it called? And he was probably definitely like held accountable by the guy too, because he was like probably thinking back in his head like, oh my god, like what would this guy think of me if I didn't do this? Didn't follow through with this. Yeah.
I think it's really cool too because I think the lesson that the person said too was like, when you start to write things down, it kind of holds you accountable.
Yeah.
Or it like what you said before, right? It feels attainable. Like when you write it down, I think it's a psychological connection to your brain that's saying that you have to do it.
Yeah.
In a way. Like it doesn't matter how long it takes, you just know that you wrote it down and this is what you wanted to do. And if you don't do it, like it's kind of like, well, then why do you write it down for? What are other good tips? I had another one in mind, but I can't think of any. Do you have any others right now?
So this kind of applies to a lot of things, but I guess, you could correlate this to like building a routine and stuff, like building a habit. I would like faking it till you make it type thing. People like kind of think of that quote and just like kind of corny, like, oh, I fake it till I make it.
Yeah.
But it's like, it actually works. Do you know what I'm saying? Something, I don't know if I mentioned this during the podcast, but I was thinking about it earlier, but like something that I like to do is kind of imagine myself in the best way that I want, like, in the best way that I picture, right?
Yeah.
And then just like comparing myself now to that person that I see in my head, right?
Yeah.
And seeing, where I'm at, in comparison to that. And, sorry. What was I saying?
It was like you were imagining yourself to where you want to be and comparing it to yourself.
What was I talking about before that? It was like the tip. Okay, so what's it called?
It's the tips that we would give for like the daily routines and stuff like that. And then you said that you like imagination, like visualizing where you want to be.
Oh, faking it to
fake it.
That's what I was saying. Okay. My bad. So I've seen a lot of my own personal growth from just faking it till I made it, right? So some of my brothers in my fraternity and stuff, like, asked me this one question one time. They were just like, how are you so confident? Like, I want to be confident.
I think I remember that day.
And I was like, are you asking me that? Because I've always grown up with, a lot of like social anxiety and just anxiety in doing everything that I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when I heard, I don't know if it was a YouTube video or somebody who told me, I don't know, minor thing, but basically I heard, like, sometimes you just got to believe like that you are that type of way, and then it'll come to light. It'll actually happen. Yeah. So whenever I would get nervous or anxious, I would think like, wow, like, no, I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not anxious. You know what I'm saying? I'm a confident guy. You know
like, I'm here. Like, this is me.
I'm here. I'm a confident guy. Yeah. Like, these shivers, I'm just excited. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not scared at all.
Yeah, I'm not scared at all.
I'm not scared at all. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And over time, like, I don't know, you're just conditioned to feel that way automatically whenever the situation like that arises. And there's actually this TED Talk about, I forgot her name, but I don't know if you can like link something in the podcast.
I can probably find it if you find it.
Yeah,
I could just we'll put it in the description below.
Yeah, but basically the TED Talk, you can probably search it up on Google or something, but it's like making anxiety your ally instead of your enemy or something like that.
Oh yeah, because there is positive and negative anxiety. That's true.
Exactly.
Oh.
So building on,
That's smart.
using that
Wow.
to your advantage instead of, it's the same thing. It's faking it till you make it. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't think about that. No, that's really smart.
Yeah. And you can use that to build upon your daily routine as well.
Yeah, because I think I remember when we were both D7 chairs. It's part of an organization we were part of named Fact. I remember one person came up to you. Or I asked you the question even. I was like, dude, you always seem like you're so confident when we're out there, like when we come up with all this stuff and like with this energy. And I remember you were either telling me or we were both telling this one person. We were like, oh, dude, we just like practice it. We're nervous as hell. But,
Yeah.
You know, we just know that we need to put on this persona to make sure like it's a good experience for you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just how it appears to other people on the outside. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what demons or battles you're fighting on the inside. You know what I'm saying? As long as you just do it, you know what I'm saying? That's how people are going to see you. Yeah. That's how you're going to appear to the world. Like, it's funny because people would tell us like, yo, we love your energy. Like, you guys are so like awesome. I love D7 and stuff like that. Like, I'm really excited to like watch you guys every time we have the GBM. And then like they ask us like, how are you guys like so like energetic and confident all the time? But then it's funny because like right before the GBM, we get there early, right? Yeah. And then we go to the back room and we're like, okay, I'm gonna say this, okay. And then you're like, oh crap, I screwed up. Let's try it again.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna say this, okay. Wait, let's make sure. Let's just run it one more time, just to make sure we got it, okay?
Yeah. And it's funny too because all the other council members like, oh, they're doing it again.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny, but
it's funny too. It's such a throwback, bro.
I know, bro.
It'd be funny too because I remember like our schedules are busy, right?
Yeah.
And then and then we all get a group me message like, remember the GBM tonight, blah blah blah. And I'll text you in all caps, yo. We need to think of something for tonight right now.
Yeah. We gotta get something. We gotta get a cool intro.
And I think that's totally true. And I think the faking till you make it, what also adds on to that, because like what we just said, it's kind of like, it's putting on a persona, yes, and obviously like you're fighting your own demons, but you get to beat those at your own time or like get the help from people for that. But I think what also motivates like putting your daily routine out is, some people are accustomed to that, is like showing it off to people, It's like you, I guess, want to be pictured in this way, and like not saying that you should be pressured in any way to do this, right? But if it does help you, if it helps you, it's like if you feel like you need to do it because it's motivating someone else to do it, or like hearing that, because I know definitely when we heard it from other people, like you said when you were reminiscing, like we love your energy and stuff, like we can't wait to hear you, like that motivated me to like, oh shit, we need to do more. Yeah. So like I guess that's another thing you could do with your daily routine. Like, what if someone's like, dang, this guy's going to the gym all the time. Or like, wow, they're like getting work done. They're like on the whiteboard. They're like shooting videos. They're doing that music cover now, blah, 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 blah. Like, what motivates you? And like, they don't know that you're battling the demons on the inside, or you think you could be doing better. Yeah. But what they see is a routine that they want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you're like, and you gotta make sure that you're upholding that too, because this is just embarrassing if you don't actually do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if you just like show it off to people,
Yeah, that's true. I guess we could go into final thoughts now and wrap things up. Like anything else we want to say, final thoughts of like just the subject in general, or like anything that we could relate to. So I'll start off with you if there's anything that you want to say and stuff like that.
Sure.
Bouncing off what we just said too.
So I just want to reiterate what I was talking about. Stop staring at me, bro. You're embarrassing me. What's it called? I just want to reiterate what I was talking about earlier about daily routines. Basically, it's just building a habit, right? And your daily routine is built up of habits that you do every single day. And habits make up your skills, your abilities, who you are as a person, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And they can also make up your mental health or physical health too,
Yeah.
And then just, reiterating the tips that I kind of mentioned that I do personally, just basically having a whiteboard, visualizing, not visualizing in your mind, but like having a visual representation, physical representation of exactly what you want to do throughout the day. And then, taking a number and then just counting down. And then as soon as you hit 0, doing exactly what you need to do.
Yes.
And then finally also, what was I going to say? Using a routine that you've already established for yourself to build another routine.
Yeah.
And also faking it till you make it, because it works.
All smart points, people. So don't you don't know until you try. So maybe these tips will help you. Maybe they won't. You're your own person. You'll figure it out. But we just hope that these tips help you. And like all Zach's ideas, like I didn't even think about some of them too. And I was like, maybe I should try one of those.
Yeah, man.
Because it might help.
And this is definitely inspirational for me too. Like, I mean, I've said a lot of things that I've, like, done in the past that I've been slacking off, and you know what I'm saying, during this podcast, and like I want to, like, actually do that now. So it's really helping. It's really inspirational for me to just be here and talk about it. It's like speaking into existence, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe talking.
yeah.
That's all we can have right now is like just talk about it with someone and maybe
exactly
start to change.
Yeah. So what about you? Any closing thoughts or anything like that?
I think one of the biggest things for me is like literally just starting. Like it's the most simple but the most complicated thing to do, right? It's so simple that it's hard because you don't want to change, right? Or you want to change but it's hard to change because it's always hard to change what your daily routines or you were. Yeah. So like I think the biggest step for me to say and reflect on is like all the stuff we said in the past, but a big thing is consistency, like constantly improving, seeing where you could do better, and like at least starting. If you're going to say I'm gonna get up at 8:00 in the morning and that alarm comes off and you say one more hour, you're kind of already failing that system. So like once you start that consistency, keep on going type of thing, because it'll become a daily routine, right? Then it'll become a habit, and then next thing you know, it's gonna be your everyday routine type of thing. But yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah.
I think that's concluding to everything. Thanks for being on this podcast, Zach.
Thank you. Also, one more thing. Sorry. I don't make it up, but what's it called? Just like, really, I mean, if anything, if there's anything you take away from this, like from our conversation or anything like that, like, just really make your mind your ally. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just, if you have a good, like, you can add that into your daily routine too, like waking up, thinking of 5 things that you're grateful for, thinking of 5 things that you're going to do throughout the day.
So smart.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Wow.
But yeah, just like really make your mind your ally. Like don't let it be your enemy, Yeah. You control your mind, you control everything that goes on in this big, small, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally true. Oh yeah, and that reminds me too. You were bringing things back into my brain. Like everything we're saying, everything we're saying right now is easier said than done. Like, and everything we're saying is like a matter from our experience and opinions. So like, don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah.
There's always things that you could do. You could be proud of your achievements and what you've done in the past and stuff like that. And like, don't be too hard on yourself. It takes time for it to happen.
Yeah.
Just we're encouraging you just to take that first step. Basically.
Exactly.
So don't like ever feel down on yourself if it's not happening. It takes time.
Yeah.
In a way.
And building off of that, reward yourself too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's so
just
true.
don't just constantly be, like putting yourself, like you said, putting yourself down and like just doing work. You know what I'm saying? You definitely need the break. Like we were talking about earlier, take a step back, really reevaluate what you're doing and understand exactly what you want to do. It's the same thing, reward yourself.
Spend time with friends.
Go
to that concert.
Or exactly. What's it called? And it's like if you take my tip of writing something down on a whiteboard, cross it out whenever you finish it, because then that immediately like you sends a signal to your brain saying like, oh my gosh, like I accomplished this, I feel good.
Yeah, you need a balance.
Do it again.
Balance to everything. And like it could start as simple as dedicating 5 minutes to something new. Yeah. All right. Well, once again, thank you for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it. I need to stop tapping this table so you can hear it. So this is a time, if you guys are listening to this podcast, you could follow us on all of our listening platforms. We'll be on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, all that good stuff. If you could subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, hit that ring on the bell. This is the Same Media Podcast. It's part of the series of this. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.